Since last year, I have found that collecting retro video games has scratched an itch I didn't realize I had. It started off with a couple of those little Chinese emulation handhelds, led to me purchasing the Atari 50 collection, and ended up seeing me purchase an Atari 5200 in-box at a flea market called Larry's Old Time Trade Days. Since then, I have purchased more consoles, more handhelds, and a lot more games. And one of my favorite places to find those games is on an app called WhatNot. Hi, I'm Paul, and this is Indie Pop Productions, pop culture from an independent point of view. And today, I'm gonna open up a couple boxes of retro games I scored from auctions on WhatNot about a week ago and that just came in. For those of you that don't know, WhatNot is an app that focuses on live online auctions. Think of it is eBay but live. And yes, I'm aware that eBay has live auctions now too, but they are pretty limited, especially when it comes to gaming. WhatNot has an abundance of video game sellers at any given time, and you can even filter it to just retro gaming. This particular haul represents purchases from 2 different sellers over the course of one weekend. One of the biggest and best binges I've been on in a while. Got some pretty standard additions to the collection, a few pretty awesome pieces that I'm looking forward to and I'm pretty excited about, and one grail that I've wanted since I learned about it ages ago, even before I started retro game collecting. If you want to give WhatNot a shot, I'll leave my link in the comments. If you use my link, you'll get a credit of between $10 and $100 for your first purchases. And I will get the same amount. And don't worry, whatever credits I get will be used directly to purchase more content for this channel. Before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe. I try to put out retro gaming related content at least once per week. We just hit 400 subscribers, and I'm planning on hosting some sort of a celebration giveaway as soon as we pass 500. And with that out of the way, let's see what we got. My first box is from a seller called Retro Games. Right here it's spelled normal, but if you look him up on WhatNot, it's R5TRO. I bought things from him a few times, a little bit of Sega stuff not too long ago, but he had a pretty big show the other day. Had quite a bit of stuff I was interested in, including some Atari stuff, and some of it went for some really good prices, so I really couldn't pass it up. So we're gonna take a look and see what we have in here. Honestly, it's pretty late at night. I don't even remember everything that I purchased, but I am pretty excited to get in here. I don't think I actually purchased any of these because I really didn't need another copy of Breakout. I've got a few. Phoenix, I think I have a copy of Phoenix somewhere, but this, honestly, I'm happy I got this. That's a nicer version of Phoenix. And Midnight Magic, this isn't the best copy of this, but any of those, if you find any games with this kind of coloring, this color red, it's more of a burgundy, but those are a little bit more valuable. It's not super valuable, but happy to have that one in my collection. And I do not have Midnight Magic. Looks like that's a pinball game. Honestly, not familiar with that one, so happy to have that one in the collection as well. Because I know I didn't purchase another copy of Combat. I think he just threw some of this up in here because he wanted to be rid of it. Defender, I've got a couple copies of Defender as well. And Basketball, I don't think I have a copy of Basketball, but I don't collect sports games, so. Oh, this one is one of the ones I was a little more excited about. I don't have anything to play this on, but I don't have anything from the Magnavox Odyssey, the Odyssey 2. The Odyssey, it's debatable whether you would even consider those to be cartridge-based games. The Fairchild was really the first true cartridge-based system, but Odyssey 2 didn't blow up the way they wanted it to, but I'm happy to have this in my collection because would really like to get my hands on an Odyssey 2 one day. That is one of the grails that I'm still hoping to get into my collection eventually. Space Invaders, I have 1 million copies of Space Invaders. Pac-Man, I have even more copies of Pac-Man. Fishing Derby, this is actually only my second copy of Fishing Derby. I would love to get my hands on a boxed copy of Fishing Derby. Sounds silly, super fun. This is, and also I think I have it, I think it's on one of the Evercade collections for Activision that I have. I loved this game when I was a kid, and it's still a lot of fun. This was one I was a little more excited about. The CBS Electronics games are a little harder to find. Again, not super valuable or anything, but still nice. And this is Solar Fox, which I do not have a copy of. Another copy of Defender, label coming off. I'll have to be careful on that one. The label actually looks really nice. That is a nicer copy of that. I'm just going to have to glue that down. I've got some stuff to take care of that. And Maze Craze. I don't think I have a copy of Maze Craze, believe it or not. So happy to get a copy of that one as well. And these all were ones I got very cheap. Atari controller, just a regular, I think it's just a regular Atari controller. take a better look at it. I'm honestly, I have questions about what model it is, but again, just such a good price, I couldn't pass it up. Again, something I don't need yet because I do not have an Intellivision console yet, but really good price on a box copy of Armor Battle, so pretty cool. And a lot of the Intellivision games come in this nice packaging where you open it up, you see everything. I got a couple of the overlays for the controllers, so I think I only paid a few bucks for this. Again, really just don't need it, but couldn't pass it up. This is one of the things I was most excited about. An Atari 5200 controller in box. Box isn't in the best of conditions. I have 3 5200 controllers, only one of them works. They're notoriously finicky. And so I have no idea, he did not test this. I have no idea if this is gonna work. Ooh, it is very dirty. See what kind of condition it's in. It does not look great. My money says this is not going to work, but I paid such a small price for it. Honestly, it's worth it just for the box. But I'll try it out. Maybe I'll get lucky. I'm not getting my hopes up though, because even in the best of conditions, these things have a tendency to not work. I vaguely remember there being one of these the last time I did one. He does lots of gibbies. Yeah, just a stack of Pokemon cards for whatever I won. And these are very, very generic, not even in great condition Pokemon cards, but they were free. I didn't pay for them, so I'll toss those over here. I don't have a big Pokemon card collection. I'm not a big fan, but you know. The thing I was weirdly excited about, even though I don't know that I'm even going to keep it, a 2600 Junior. I didn't need it at all, but he said it's tested and working. I'm gonna have to put the cables with it, but I've got cables, and I think it uses the same, it looks like it uses the same cables that the regular 2600 has. I already have two 2600s, but I don't have a Junior version, so I may just clean this up really well and sell it, put some controllers with it, some cables with it, and sell it a little bit of a profit on my eBay store. But I'm going to play with it a little first. It is cool looking and it is nice because that design does look well with the 5200 and the 7800, but I still prefer the classic look. And if you count my 2600 plus, the Pac-Man edition, I have 4 2600s. I really don't need this. But again, he was selling these things at such a good price. He said they were tested and working, not the controller, but the console. It was like $17. I couldn't pass it up. So I'm not sure I'm going to keep it in my collection, but I was happy to get it. This is from a company, it's a seller. I don't know if it's officially a company, but MW Games. I've bought from him a few times before too. Really good seller. It's fun to go into his auctions. They're both very different personalities between these two sellers, but they're two of the ones that I'm a regular in. Don't always buy something, it just depends on what they have. Sometimes the things I'm looking for are pretty unique. But this time he had some stuff that I just really couldn't pass up. He sells a lot of Japanese games, and so that's primarily what I've purchased from him in the past is Japanese stuff, but this is definitely the most and the biggest box I've ever gotten from him before, so I'm excited to check this one out. This, I don't need it yet, but I do plan on eventually needing it. This is just a tray. It's a 3D printed tray that you can swap out the tray in either a Nintendo Super Famicom or a Super Nintendo, so that it could play both Japanese and American games. Again, don't need it yet. I don't have, actually no, I'm sorry, not Super Nintendo, N64. This goes to an N64. I'm probably a ways out from buying an N64. I do want to get one eventually, if I find one at a good deal, but it was a couple bucks, couldn't pass it up, because I know eventually when I do get one, I'm going to want to mod it, whether it's Japanese and I'm modding it to play American or vice versa. I will definitely use this when the time comes. Got a few Japanese, again, things I don't really need yet, but N64 games. These are heavier than I expected. I've actually never owned an N64. The only N64 games I've ever played are the ones that are on Nintendo Switch Online and NSO. This is Pokemon Stadium for Nintendo 64, Japanese version obviously. It is heavy, very heavy. I'm surprised by how heavy that is. Pikachu, I think it's Hello Pikachu? Can't read Japanese, so I'm not positive. Something along those lines, but a couple Pokemon games. Mario Party 2, I have no idea how I'd play this. Anything like this is going to require a lot of words on the screen, and I don't speak Japanese, but again, he was selling these. I was paying like $2 or $3 each for them. Again, I just couldn't pass them up. And I've seen this one before, but I gotta be honest with you, I have no idea what it is. I'll look that up at a later date, find out what in the world this game is. I don't know if that's a Japanese exclusive because I do not recognize it at all, other than having seen it on Japanese sites or in other auctions where they're selling Japanese games. DS game, honestly, I don't remember ordering this. Looks kind of like Brain Age or something along those lines. Well, interesting fact, if you don't know, most of Nintendo's consoles up until the Switch were region locked. The Switch being kind of a handheld and a console at the same time is not region locked. Japanese games will play on an American and vice versa. And from anywhere in the world, it doesn't matter where you get it, it'll play. The handhelds have traditionally not been region locked, with the exception, I believe, of the Nintendo 3DS, but this is just a regular Nintendo DS. I do have a DS. In fact, I have a few, but I've only got one that works really well, and that is an old school original model DS. And so this will play in that. In fact, I think it's Japanese, but I've just got it set to the American settings so everything pops up on English. I'm not sure if this will play in English, but it will play in my DS. And the thing that this was all about, as far as I was concerned, the reason I wanted this is the thing that I've wanted since before I even started retro game collecting, just being a fan of video games, when I found out how different it was from the American version. And again, it was just such a good price. I think I paid about $20-something for this, and normally you're lucky to find one for $80. It does not come with any of the cables, so I'll have to take care of that, but I've already got the cables that this will need. Little yellowed with age, but an actual Nintendo Famicom from Japan. For those of you that don't know, the NES in the United States was originally made in Japan as the Famicom. The Famicom computer game system, or just Famicom computer, didn't mind looking like a traditional video game console, because the crash that it kind of was Atari's fault in the 80s and turned everybody away from video games didn't happen in Japan. And so Nintendo just came out with their first major console, which was the Famicom. It did great. They wanted to introduce it to the United States, and they remarketed the one in the United States as a toy and made it look more like a VCR than a video game console. Didn't have that issue in Japan. The controllers are not detachable. They just fit in the little tray here. The games kind of fit in that little flap right there. Does not fit the same size games. They made the games for the American console significantly larger than on the for the Famicom games in Japan, but often it was the same games. And I'll do a video about some of those games in the near future, so you can see how they fit in. Hopefully this will work. Don't expect to see a lot of Nintendo content from me over the next few months. I've got a few other things. I got a lot of Atari content planned. I've got some Evercade stuff coming to me. I've got in the fall, I've also got the Neo Geo, but I do plan on making this the basis for the beginning of my 2027 as I build on from my Atari consoles, and I finish off the original trilogy of consoles. I probably won't have a Jaguar anytime soon, because Jaguars are way overpriced right now, but I will at least have the original trilogy of Atari consoles. And then when I go into 2027, starting with this and go through their cartridge-based consoles, starting with the Famicom, and then going to the Super Famicom, get adapters for them both so I can play American games on them too, and then going to the N64, which didn't have a separate name and didn't look any different, but it does take slightly different cartridges, and that's why I have that adapter, so that when the time comes and when I do get that, I will be able to play both English and Japanese games. So I'm very excited, getting a head start on my work for next year, and plus, just for myself, I have just always wanted one of these, and I'm super excited. Hope it works. Can't wait to play with it. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. Remember, please like and subscribe. Liking and subscribing makes it easier for you to find my next video when it drops, and it also makes it easier for other people to find the channel if they're looking for this kind of content. I do, as I mentioned earlier, I've just recently passed 400 subscribers. Excited about that because I've really only been taking this seriously this year, and so I thought maybe I'd hit 500 by the end of the year, but now I'm kind of hoping I'm going to hit 500 by the end of the summer. And as soon as I do, I haven't decided yet, but I'm going to have some sort of a celebration giveaway. I'll have a video where I talk specifically about that. If you are curious about WhatNot and what it's like to buy games, or really anything. It's like eBay, you can find anything on there, but I found it to be a great place for retro gaming at often very reasonable prices. Then you can check my link that will give you, like I said, anywhere between $10 and $100 in credit to start your shopping. If you do that, as soon as your first purchase comes into you and you receive it, then I will get the exact same amount. And as I said, I promise whatever I get, it's just going to go directly back into content for this channel. Just kind of help me keep a little bit of a budget. I'm not monetized. I'm not making any money on this, using my own money for everything on this channel. And so if you want to help me out, you can get something out of yourself. Just follow that link, sign up, purchase something, not from me, but from someone else, and I'll get the same bonus that you got. Thank you guys for watching. It always means so much to me. And as always, I'll see you next time.